Hey guys, welcome back to the second video in my series on the Kratky hydroponic system created by Dr. Bernard Kratky at the University of Hawaii. So in today's episode we're going to take this 5-gallon tote and we're going to grow California Wonder green bell peppers. Now if you've ever grown California Wonder green bell peppers before in your garden, you know that they can get substantially large. So I was originally thinking that I would be able to plant 4 in one container, but I'm thinking if everything goes as planned, I'm only going to have room for 2, probably 1, but I'm going to try to squeeze in 2 in this container. So let's get started here. We're going to take a lid. We need to drill our holes. And again, to give maximum room, I'm going to put these holes at the ends of this container. Now make sure when you're using your drill bit that you have your drill on the reverse setting so as not to tear out and gash a big hole in your lid. Now I'm using a 1 3/4 inch hole saw bit, and that's so that our 2-inch pool noodle that we're going to take a slice of will fit in there snugly and give the support that our green pepper is going to need. So let's go ahead and drill our holes here. Now that we have our holes drilled, I'm going to go and rinse out this container and then go ahead and bring it back up here. We're going to put our mix of nutrients in this container and then add water and stir it until the nutrients dissolve. So I'm going to do that off camera and then I'll be right back. So just like with our tomato, we're going to start with our master blend 4-18-38 tomato and vegetable formula. And it's about 1 teaspoon per gallon. So I'm going to do, it's not quite a full teaspoon. Just going to shake that around there. Alright. Next ingredient is our Epsom salt or magnesium sulfate. And again, with our recipe, we're only going to use 1/4 teaspoon. You don't need quite as much Epsom salt or magnesium sulfate. So I'm going to put 4 of these 1/4 teaspoons. And our last ingredient is our calcium nitrate 15.5-00. Again, we're going back to our teaspoon. We're going to add 5 teaspoons into our container. Basically 1 teaspoon per gallon. Alright folks, we're going to try to tease out a couple of these California Wonder green peppers. Now if you've been following my channel, you know that my cousin Rob Cutlip and I have been doing some live stream videos, and in one of those videos I planted seeds for all of these plants that you see here, and they are way past due for transplanting. I mean, I've got our red cabbage here, I've got the California Green Wonders, I've got some lavender over here on this far end. So let's see if we can get two of these out. Also got some mint, peppermint and spearmint. I'm going to use my son's baby fork to kind of help me out here. Get underneath this massive clump of roots. Alright, that looks like a good one. So we're going to use this one here as one of our plants. I'm going to set that aside in that container, and let me find another one. This looks like a good one. Okay, some nice roots on that plant, and we're going to use those two. And I'm going to just kind of put these back in here as best I can, and then we'll probably go ahead and transfer these out into our garden. That way we'll have a comparison. We can compare how these California Wonder green bell peppers perform using the Kratky hydroponic method versus planting them straight out into the garden. So stay tuned for updates on that. So now that we've got our two plants selected, let's go ahead and rinse the soil, the remaining bit of soil, off of our roots, and then we will plant these up. Again, we're just going to try to wash out as much of this soil as we can. It's not critical that you get every bit of soil removed, but as much as you can. That looks pretty good. Alright, let's go get these in our Kratky container. Okay, so now that we have the soil removed from our two California Wonder green peppers, it's time to cut our noodle donuts. So we're going to, again, cut them about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. There's one. There's two. Now again, if you didn't see our first video in this series, this is a 2-inch in diameter pool noodle, and we cut our hole so it would be smaller than the noodle so that our plant doesn't fall down through the hole. So this is to give it some support. So in order for this to fit in there, and also to allow us to get this plant in rather than trying to fish the roots through the hole, we're going to cut our noodle like so, and that way we can get our plant in. But we need to remove a section of this so that we can get a nice snug fit and allow us to get it in there. So again, I'm going to go about 1/2 inch and remove a 1/2 inch piece, and this is what you'll have. Now we'll take our plant here, and I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and snip off these lower cotyledon leaves that have yet to drop. There we go. And remove this piece of bark here. Alright, so now that we have that, we'll put our pool noodle donut around our plant, fish our roots through the hole, like so. And then squeeze in our noodle. Now we want to go about halfway in and leave about half above the edge. Just like that. That way our plant doesn't fall through. Okay, so just like that. Let me go ahead and get the other one, then I'll show you what it looks like on the bottom. So again, we're going to take our 2-inch pool noodle, we're going to cut it and then cut a section out of it about a 1/2 inch, like so. And then take our noodle. Again, I'm going to remove these leaves, these cotyledoned leaves. And then we're going to take our noodle, we're going to wrap it around our plant, kind of put our roots through the hole here, and then kind of squeeze in our noodle, again about half the distance there. Okay, and so it should look kind of like that, and then at the bottom you'll see our roots coming through here. And notice, Cousin Rob, if you're watching, you did not see me trim these roots. Okay, I want as much roots as I can here with this Kratky method. Now you'll also notice that these plants have been suffering from being in this 1.5 inch tray with all of these other plants. So you can see there's some discoloration in that leaf right there. So hopefully that will correct itself by being in the nutrient solution. So let's take this down. We're going to put this on our tub with the nutrients, and then I'll explain a little bit more when we get there. Okay, now that our nutrients have had sufficient time to dissolve into the water, we're going to go ahead and place our lid on our Kratky container. And we want to make sure that those roots are touching the water. And they are. So, that's really all that there is to it. Okay, let me explain exactly how this Kratky method of hydroponics works. So, we have our nutrients dissolved in the water inside the container. We have our lid, which we've cut the holes and placed our donuts from the pool noodles to help support our plants. And then the roots are suspended from the noodles and the lid, and they go into the water so that they can draw the water and the nutrients up. Now as they do that, and with some minor evaporation, the water level is going to drop. It's going to dissipate. And as it does, it will create a larger air pocket in here, which will allow our plants to create what are called air roots. And that's where they exchange the gases and the oxygen. They gather the oxygen that they need, while allowing those longer roots to dip down and reach for that water as it dissipates. And so that those roots can then focus on drawing up the nutrients in the water that these plants will need throughout the growing system. So that's what makes this work. And the reason why it's self-contained is because we've used a container that is not clear. So that will prevent sunlight from entering this container and allowing algae to grow. So we're going to keep a monitor on this and see how this goes. This is, again, my first time trying the Kratky method of hydroponics. It's the first time trying hydroponics in any form. So I'm going to keep a close eye on these, and I will keep you updated on how these plants do, as well as our tomato and the cabbage that we will do in our next episode. And hopefully be able to do some comparisons of these plants in the Kratky method versus the plants in just a natural setting in the garden in soil. So stay tuned for that as well. And until the next episode, please be safe out there, take care, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.